Another turning point was, in Russia, high school was to grade 11 in my time. Before us, kids would finish grade 10 and then go to university. But at grade 10, at the end of grade 10, one of the teachers who was my friend came to me and said it was teachers' committee sitting, discussing every student, how they will treat us in grade 11, who is going well. And he said that teachers agree that I will never should get to university. You have to understand life in Russia. It's like you live in a dual society. One thing is official, what you're allowed to do, what you're allowed to say. And second, what you really feel, what you tell to your friends, that really your friends that will not go and tell to police what you're talking about. So at school, they told us to be honest. Okay? And honesty is one of good...
character traits.
Yeah. So whenever we had essay to write in literature, from grade 8, grade 9, I always wrote what I thought.
Uh-oh.
And this brought me into this situation.
What did you think? And what did you write?
Last essay that really brought to this point was, theme was how good life is in Soviet Union. It's how good to live in Soviet Union. So I said that life is very beautiful, good, but I have a few questions. So it's a country of where proletarian is in power. My parents are proletarians. Mom working in a factory, fish cutting, my father bricklayer. Okay, they have 5 kids, 7 people living in 2 bedrooms. By that time, we already had 2 bedrooms. Okay, my mom had to work night shifts. My father worked 2 shifts. During daytime, he worked in construction. In the evening, after 6, 7 o'clock, we'd go to restaurant, playing drums. So, and they work like horses, and we hardly finish a month with what they had, money. Mm-hmm. On the other hand, I have friends whose parents retired officers. Okay, they live in same 2-bedroom apartment, but only 2 or 3 people. Right. They eat everything.
So let me get this straight. You wrote about these inequalities and injustices in your essays.
I didn't call it inequality. I simply asked questions.
And well, your answer was you're not going to university.
Answer also, we all don't know. Another thing that they were against. They asked us to write about characters that really, for us, a role model.
Yeah. So who is your role model?
I wrote about characters from novels of Pirandello, Sherwood Anderson's little people who are suffering, inner sufferings of them, because I loved reading those things. And the things were not part of Russian allowed literature. I found those books in my friend's father's shelf, but library, and I loved reading it. But I'm associating with those characters, and so not Soviet characters.
I see. So what kind of Soviet characters were you supposed to write about? If you can give me a couple examples.
One of them is, let's say, girl Zoya Kosmodemyanskaya. She was captured by, she helped partisans in Russia during the war. She was captured by Germans, and she didn't tell them any secrets, didn't tell them anything, so they hung her.
Okay, so she's an example.
And this one, the second example is a little boy, Paul Morozov. So he lived in a village. His parents were one of these peasants who were not poor. But they were hardworking, they had cows at home, a little bit this and that and that. And then time came when they started recruiting people into Russian collective farm, kolkhoz. And parents start talking among themselves that we work for all our life, and now we have to take all our possessions and give it to communal service. Said, what's the point? There's so many lazy people around going into those kolkhoz. And we work hard, we have to give out. So they talk among themselves that they have to do something. Maybe kill cows, maybe run away. And little boy, he overheard them. And next morning he said in the class to teacher, because he was taught that party is the more important than parents. And if parents doing something against party, against country, you have to come and tell.
So he's another.
So he
character
tells,
you're supposed
so his parents were arrested, probably sent to Siberia, but he became a hero. And this is what, in grade 5, 4, 5, 6, we read stories about him, how good he is.
I see. Okay.
Of course, this was not my hero.
I see.
The only thing different was that I was stupid enough to write what I think. And because of that, I had to leave school.
But you knew the consequences. Why would you do it?
When you're young, you're doing things that you know consequences, but you're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
You did, I do it, everyone do it. It's not to be, because I really was, let's put cynical about what they're teaching us.
Uh-huh.
And I thought that the teachers probably need to open their eyes. I didn't realize that they're part of all this. After that, I finished school. I had to go to night school. So solution to this problem, not going to university, was to quit day school and I had to go to night school. But to be night school for working youth, I had to work. And so my mother found for me work. First I worked at the Slaughterhouse, but it didn't please my parents. Mm-hmm. So I brought fleas home.
Oh, that's delicious.
So,
okay.
yeah, so my mother said, you are not going to work there anymore. So she found me work, electrical apprentice. Okay. I worked during day, at night I went to school. At night school, I was the best student. I was the best student in the day school too, but. So I finished school with gold medal, with all excellent marks. And I thought that I'm okay, and I went to Moscow. And this where hit me, this passport story. I had to get passport, but police didn't want to give me passport because my birth certificate was not legible. So anyway, so I had to bribe a guy. So